Hello, everyone. Have I got a story for you? First of all, the suit was by a friend of mine in Asia. She has her own tailor shop. She makes custom suits. So if you'd like the info, let me know. Also, please support my small business in Arizona, legalpaz.com, legalpaz.com. Phone number 602-935-5297. You can reach me through the website. You can email me. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. Legalpause.com. That's Arizona only. And it's pretty much right now just traffic tickets and criminal cases that do not involve jail time. Um, Debt defense and things of that nature. Tenant defense if you're facing an eviction, things of that nature. If you need demand letters done, go to legalpause.com and we'll see if we can help you out. Jumping right into it. Have I got a story for you? Long story short, I paid $5,000 for a negotiation class in law school, and I literally saved myself more than that by negotiating. Um, Long story short, there was two attorneys, two law firms. Both of them were uh, basically trying to prove the same thing. Okay, so this is the story. This is a story I wish I would have heard 2 years ago, or at least 6 months ago, or even a month ago. But anyhow, it's a story I didn't even know existed, but I do now. So what happened was I we were involved in an automobile accident, and we had $40,000 in medical bills. More than that, actually, it was insane. I was smart enough to have PIP, personal injury protection insurance, here in Texas, Dallas Fort Worth area. So I had this PIP insurance. I didn't know how much I had. I apparently had 10,000. Presently, I have 100,000 per person. But if you don't have PIP insurance, get it. And if you had an accident and you don't have PIP insurance, this video is probably not going to help you much unless it's for the future. But I digress. We ended up settling. I can't give you the exact amount because that's confidential. But it could have been better, could have been worse. And that's what this video is about. So I'm finally debt free except for the mortgage. But all of my credit cards are paid off and my loans and my car. Other than the house, basically, I'm debt free. So I would have even more money if I had seen this video before hiring those two law firms. Would have thousands more dollars. Could use the extra money. I'm sure you could too. So I'm trying to teach you how to avoid my mistakes. I hired an attorney recommended by my chiropractor. He wasn't the greatest attorney, and he kept pushing me to also sign up my wife, and I just didn't do it because I wasn't a great, huge fan of him. That was not the attorney to lose. Here's the deal: if I get enough likes on this video to finally monetize after 15 years, I will name him and everyone else in this video. I will give you every bit of information that has not been signed to with the confidentiality agreement, and there are some juicy pieces of info. Like I said, I've had this channel for 15 years, and I really need those likes, regardless of whether I get those likes or not. This video should still help you as it's very informational. So I hired a firm, didn't like him so much, didn't have my wife sign up with them. I ended up hiring a large law firm out of Dallas and Fort Worth. They have two physical locations, one in Dallas and one in Fort Worth. And once they sign you, they really don't care about you. That's poor communication. My attorney realized a couple of problems that the other side was not going to settle really easily, unfortunately, and that the firm I hired for my wife ended up hiring for her, the one I just mentioned. Like I said, I'll give you the name of them if this video gets enough likes. I will. I promise you that. Come hell or high water, I will give you that information. As much as I guarantee you, they're not going to want me to. I'm hoping to get 100,000 likes on this video somehow. I hired that stupid mistake. I've got to be careful with what I say. I unfortunately hired a firm for her that wasn't the best. And then they ultimately sued me. So it was her versus the other driver and then versus me. So that's one of many crazy pieces of this story. They sued me over a year. My defense attorney even agreed to pay them $5,000, and I told them no, they'd better not accept that because I was not at fault. I took it like a man, despite being sued by my own spouse. Joked around with her about it. Long story short, I tried to also add myself to them before I realized they were terrible. And my original attorney had given up when he realized that it just wasn't going to be an easy settle. So, anyhow, this is a story I've been meaning to tell since this case settled a little over a month ago. So, my original attorney, the guy that was no Johnny Cochran, he was no King of Torts. I was like, hey man, my wife's lawyer was like, they want to sue me. What do you think about that? And he's like, oh, that's really wonderful. That's really great. That means I can get defense. And I was like, what? Anyways, so I went ahead and let them do it. And then my own insurance company got upset. They had to hire a firm to defend me. And then my own attorney, original attorney, realized a mistake or something and then sent me a withdrawal letter. Okay. So I had to call around. I called a bunch of different law firms. And one of them that I called was like, you have no prayer. No one's ever going to represent you. It was the most ridiculous, unethical thing I've heard in a long time. But it came from a paralegal. And I really wish I could remember the name of that firm because they were garbage. But I can tell you that they were in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Personal injury attorneys. With a goofball paralegal answering that way. So I ignored his terrible advice, thankfully, and I hired a different firm, who I will name if I hit my goal, likes, lofty goals. Like I said, I've had this channel for 15 years. I haven't made any money at all on it. So if I can get enough likes and views, it will start making money and finally pay off. Anyhow, just if you could just please like this video, subscribe if you'd like. But unfortunately, I don't have my normal camera set up, my normal headphones, and my normal mic because I just moved across town recently and stuff was still in boxes. Long story short, but I digress. I hired a new firm, a smaller firm out of Dallas only, and I learned a heck of a lot in that process, despite having graduated from law school myself. So I'll teach you some things. The whole thing went to mediation after approximately 2 years. Well, more like 27 months, 28 months, somewhere in there. Mediation was $800 per party. So because she had a firm and I had a firm, that was $1,600 just gone. So tip number one, if you can get the same attorney for both of you, you can save half of that. So $800. And I saw that breakdown because I asked the firms for breakdowns. I didn't just blindly sign and say, oh, we're going to get a check here, signing on the dotted line. And then I called the firm and I said $800. The mediation firm. I said $800. Are you kidding me? And she said, no, that's what we charge everyone. So I knew it was legitimate. I did ask both firms to provide me proof that they paid that, and neither of them would. And that's fine. Again, I'll name them both. Actually, I take it back. My firm did tell me who the mediator was, but so I could call and confirm it, but I never saw proof of the payment. And on top of that, so we had PIP, and my insurance company made the mistake of double paying PIP. And because you cannot you in Texas, you're not legally allowed to like subrogate or get the money back after it's already been paid for a PIP. So I told them, I was open and honest with them. I let them know they made a mistake, and they said there's nothing we can do about that. So effectively, they double paid, $20,000 on hers, $20,000 on mine. And I made sure, I'm just trying to be honest with them. I said, you double paid. They're like, yeah, we know, but they did leave 2 claims on our report, which sucks, which makes it more expensive to get automobile insurance. But anyways, I immediately informed my attorney, and I immediately informed her counsel. And according to my counsel, she could tell her lawyer to speak to me even though they were suing me. So that's interesting, something you should know. So I did that, and I took full control at that point because she was pulling her hair out, almost being the middle woman and the whole thing. So I told everyone, and her firm went and contacted the doctor who had already been paid the first portion of PIP, which was $10,000. And they were like, hey, do you want some more money? And he was like, sure. And they did that without her consent. And in fact, she was upset about it. I tried to stop them, but they didn't care, which is totally unethical. They could be reported to the bar for that. My firm, on the other hand, took what I said and apparently didn't even contact the doctor. So they just let him have the $10,000, and I guess they're just assuming he's not going to go after the balance, which was, I don't know, $12,000 or something. And that's just one sum of medical bills. There were other providers as well that were involved. One firm did a better job at negotiating those bills down than the other. And again, I'll name names if I get enough likes in this video. Both firms were like, hey, that money's ours, like the firm's, not mine, not my wife's, but their own, even though that's not true. Completely untrue. I paid the premium on it. I opted to get the optional insurance, and so it should have been mine. Both of them took a third, so of $20,000, a third of $20,000. They all did. And since I was settling mine first, and they did no work to get it at all, and it was just because I opted to purchase it and pay the premiums on it, I negotiated that. Excuse me. So effectively, during mediation, the defendant wanted all of us to agree to the settlement, or it was a no-go for anything. So they were kind of hanging themselves while attempting to scare us. So my side made a negotiation, and it was done deal. She hung up, got off the line. You can ask to be part of mediation, and I recommend it, actually. They don't usually do it because they don't like the client to see what goes behind the scenes. But hey, you're paying $800 out of your ultimate settlement for it, so you should be permitted to take part of it instead of just getting a phone call on occasion saying, here's the update. But anyways, so mediation. So when it came down to it, her lawyers had negotiated $5,000 to be paid by my policy. And I went a little bit irate, to put it nicely. anyways, and said no, they're not getting any of that. And I told her lawyer to tell them that the full 20 comes from. All right, I accidentally said something I shouldn't have, so I've got to edit that part out. Anyhow, so I wanted all of it to come from the liable party, which was them, the defendant. And then I just let it go, just like that. I was like, it's deal breaker. And, I had them exactly where I wanted them, between a rock and a hard place. And I let her attorney negotiate that. Saved my own policy $5,000. Saved a black mark on my own policy. They paid the same amount. All was well. After that is when the issue with the cutting portions of the PIP came into play. The contracts weren't very clear. So that's why I pushed it so hard. My firm negotiated it way down. Instead of 33, grabbing a calculator really quick, I saved $2,583.33. Her firm I only saved on her firm about $2,483.33. At least they were willing to budge. I guess my point is that some of those things are negotiable. My other point is there are firms out there that won't take any of that. So I could have gotten an extra at least $1,500. And who couldn't use an extra $1,500 right now? I mean, you could buy a used Rolex for that if you really wanted to, or even a semi-reliable car, or even pay down your insurance for 6 months. But anyways, this is all I really wanted to tell you. I'm just checking my notes right now from what I wrote down earlier. I've got another 3.5 minutes of notes, so I guess I'll pause this. Just one moment, please. Thank you. By the way, this is a brand new couch from Rooms to Go, and it was, I don't know, $1,800, and it's fantastic. So while we're waiting, sorry about that. So yeah, I made us effectively in 2 phone calls, approximately $2,500 per phone call, give or take. One was more generous, and I'm here to expose the other one. It was her firm, which was a lot more stingy, very difficult to communicate with, extremely impossible to reach the attorney after we signed. I'd love to give you your name if you could please just like this video. It'll encourage me to make a part 2, which gives away the names. Both firms had to check with their managing partners, the guy with the name on the firm, and that took several days. Theirs was not very good negotiation wise. I mean, they gave me a number hoping me I'd accept it that was lower than the previous number, and I did not. And then they just sent me a form to sign. Ultimately, it was kind of sleazy, in my personal opinion. But regardless, that extra $20,000 that was paid, the insurance company wanted to get it from me, like gouge me every month on the only way they could, through premiums. And so I switched insurance providers, and I'm literally getting better insurance now and paying half the price every month. I switched to USAA, by the way. So if you, granted, the content of this video is mostly concerned with Texas law, but once again, I am licensed in Arizona. If you have a limited jurisdiction matter, I can help you on it. Civil and criminal at this point. And today's date is November 17th, 2024. So again, please like the video, and I will give you that additional information if I am finally able to break through this weird barrier where Google makes a ton of money off all my viewers, giving them ads and whatever, and I make nothing. It's really frustrating. So, like I said, there are other firms you can look for in Texas for personal injury that don't charge any part of PIP at all. And presently, now I have $100,000 of PIP on me and $100,000 on her and $100,000 on him through USAA. And if anything ever happens, God forbid, we get in any more accidents, we will have significantly greater medical coverage through PIPs like that. But I would certainly be hiring a law firm in the future if that ever occurred that advertises that they do not take any cut of PIP at all. And there are a few firms out here in Texas that do that. You need to look for them and ignore the quasi unethical ones that actually take a portion of the PIP, your PIP coverage. And once again, this video is sponsored by legalpaz.com. That's legal, PAZ.com. P is in Peter, AZ like Arizona.com. Legalpaz, LEGALPAZ.com. And the phone number is 602-935-5297. That's 602-935-LAW7. 5297. Or you can email me at jack@legalpaz.com. And that's only for criminal and civil out of justice court or municipal court in Arizona. And I do have a firm I'm contacting regarding potential referrals out here in Texas that does not require PIPs, but I'm going to go ahead and release this video now just because I've been sitting on it for a month and it's been burning to get it done. I hope this video has been helpful. Thanks and have a great day. Good luck. Godspeed.